The sun was barely up when I pulled into the driveway, my pickup truck rattling from a month-long research trip in Peru. I was bone-tired, my boots still caked with jungle mud, but the sight in front of me snapped me awake. A bulldozer was tearing into my front yard, yellow caution tape flapping like a bad omen. A guy in a neon vest waved me off, and a giant, "Sold" sign loomed over the lawn. The problem? I hadn't sold a thing. My name's Thomas Harper, and this patch of Virginia soil heritage acres has been in my family for 5 generations. Someone was about to regret crossing me. Heritage Acres isn't fancy. It's a 3-bedroom farmhouse with a creaky porch, a red barn, and a windmill that groans in the wind. My great-grandfather built it in 1887, and my dad made me swear never to let the local HOA swallow it up. I kept that promise. So when the contractor smirked and said the land was now part of the Meadowview HOA's phase for development, I felt my blood boil. He pointed me to the HOA president, Susan Caldwell, and handed me a crumpled flyer with her name. I stormed into the HOA office, a sterile box of fake plants and lavender air freshener. Susan sat behind a desk the size of a small car, her smile as sharp as a paper cut. I told her there had been a mistake, me land wasn't for sale. She slid a file across the desk, claiming my property was abandoned after 45 days of vacancy per HOA rules. My taxes were paid, my title was clean, and I told my neighbor I'd be gone. Then she showed me a sale agreement with my signature. It wasn't mine. My stomach churned as she leaned back, cool as ice, and suggested I take it up with the county. I snapped photos of the papers and left before I said something I'd regret. Back home, the bulldozer had ripped out my mother's azalea bushes. A surveyor's stake marked HOA property was jammed near the windmill I'd rebuilt with my dad at 15. Inside, my deed was gone from its lockbox. No mess, no forced entry, just the folder missing. I called my old friend Marcus, a retired FBI accountant who loved chasing paper trails. He didn't answer, so I texted, "Fraud alert. Need your brain." Then I visited my neighbor, Clara, who said a woman matching Susan's description had stopped by weeks ago for a welfare check with a key to my house. My spare key. Marcus called back that night. By morning, he'd found shell companies tied to HOA funds, all linked to Susan Caldwell. She'd done this before similar scams in 2 other towns, settled quietly with NDAs. He traced her assets, a lake house, 3 rentals, and a yacht under her sister's name. If she used 1 dime of HOA money for this, Marcus said, we can freeze it all. I filed an injunction to stop construction, hired a lawyer named Evelyn Brooks known for shredding shady real estate deals, and walked into Susan's office with the court order. Her smile twitched. "You'll need a better lawyer," I said. She didn't know I was just getting started. The injunction halted the bulldozers, but the damage was brutal. My irrigation pipes were cut, the barn was scraped, and the azaleas were mulch. Susan hadn't just stolen my land. She tried to erase my family's story. Marcus dug deeper, finding fake invoices from Brightfield Services, a company tied to Susan's maiden name. Then he hit gold, a state grant requiring the HOA to own my land outright. Susan had forged the sale to cash in, assuming I'd be too late to fight. She was wrong. Evelyn filed a civil suit for fraud, trespass, and emotional distress, plus a motion to freeze Susan's assets. Marcus uncovered a wire transfer from Susan's cousin, Ethan, to a shell LLC that bought my land. The deed's signature was a sloppy fake. Me tease don't loop like that. We had her. I confronted Susan at my property, where she stood in a sundress, waving like we were pals. "Why'd you forge my signature?" I asked. Her smile faltered. "Careful with accusations, Thomas," she snapped. I told her about the evidence and gave her 72 hours to confess and resign. She laughed and walked away. Big mistake. The court froze her accounts that day. Her husband's card was declined at a gas station. HOA board members started whispering. One, a retired teacher named George, admitted Susan pressured him to approve the plan without reading it. Another leaked a recording of Susan saying, "He's off digging dirt in Peru. He won't care." The audio, plus Marcus's financial trail, proved premeditated fraud. Then things got ugly. My gate was left open one night, tire tracks tore up my field, and my barn camera was cut. A week later, I smelled smoke. Someone had torched a patch of my fence line with gasoline. The sheriff called it arson. Marcus found blurry footage of a figure near a car registered to Ethan, Susan's cousin. We didn't blink. Evelyn sent our evidence recordings, emails, fake invoices to a local reporter. The story exploded. Residents flooded the HOA with complaints, some demanding refunds for bogus fines. Susan held a press conference, blaming a vindictive landowner. It didn't land. She then submitted fake HOA minutes claiming the board approved the sale months ago, but the metadata showed they were forged days earlier. The judge added obstruction of justice to her charges. In court, Evelyn was a surgeon. She presented the forged deed, fake vendors, and Susan's emails promising a developer a cut of my subdivided land. Susan claimed she thought the land was unclaimed, but Evelyn showed my title, dated and clear. A handwriting expert confirmed the signature fraud. Susan stammered, her lawyer sweating. The judge asked if she knew the land wasn't abandoned. I don't recall, she mumbled. Wrong answer. Guilty on all counts: fraud, embezzlement, obstruction. Restitution, $1.42 million. Her assets liquidated. The HOA faced a 5-year audit, and Susan's name was mud. The fallout was swift. Susan's house was auctioned, her husband left, and Ethan was indicted for tax fraud. Residents got refund checks, some cried opening them. My land was restored, named a historic site, safe from HOAs forever. I bolted a plaque to the windmill, Harper Homestead, EST 1887. Marcus wrote an expose on HOA corruption, sparking countywide reforms. Evelyn won our civil suit, covering my costs and adding punitive damages. The new HOA board, transparent and resident-led, asked me to join. I agreed, demanding open votes and clear rules. They said yes. 6 months later, the town threw a fair. Kids waved signs, our HOA, our rules. My photo was on a booth honoring the fight. I grumbled, but smiled inside. That night, under the windmill, the land felt alive again. Susan had brought bulldozers and lies, but I brought patience and a town that said, enough. Her legacy was a warning. Mine was a plaque and a quiet field. Susan's gone now, banned from HOA rolls. Her name is synonym for greed. My barn's fixed, the azaleas are replanted, and the windmill turns. Some fights don't end with fireworks, just a steady breeze and a home that stands. What do you think? Should I have pushed for harsher punishment, or was justice served? Have you faced bullying or injustice like this? Share your thoughts below. I want to hear your stand.